if you are one of those people, then go off this channel. But if you want to know how to get laid and get pussy, then stick with us till the end of the video.
The past few months for me, they were awesome. I had multiple threesomes,
Like, it was never easier to set up dates straight to either your place or her place. Yo, what's up, guys? This is Pat from Real Intentions, here with my man Marquardt. What's good, man?
What's up, man? How's it going? Greetings to Vienna.
Good. Greetings to Frankfurt. We both speaking German, actually, but we decided to make this video in English to reach a wider audience. Marquardt, before we start, introduce yourself shortly to the people who may not know you from my channel, and how we met each other and why we choose this topic to talk about today.
Sure, yeah. So as Patrick already said, and happy that you invited me to give a little talk on your channel. My name is Marquardt. I work as a coach since about two to 3 years now, and I've been in pickup for about I guess like 7 or 8 years. And I was really like the typical story you would actually tell somebody for marketing purposes, but for me it was my real life story. So I started, I used to play World of Warcraft, and I was a super huge nerd, and I literally spent 8 hours a day for about 3 years straight, only playing World of Warcraft. So I did nothing else except of like sleeping, going to school, and then playing World of Warcraft. And when I did that, I realized, oh shit, my soft skills suck a lot, and back then, I only wanted a girl to cuddle with. I didn't even want to have sex, even though I jerked off internet porn the whole time. And it was really frustrating for me. And especially when I quit World of Warcraft, because I realized that, it's not helping me any further. I was really depressed, and I got really, really sad. And I even thought about suicide, because I just feel really bad, and I used to live in a small little village, and it wasn't as good as well, and there were some other problems. But then eventually I made it to a bigger city, and I got some friends, and I had the first thing that helped me a little bit, and then I read the game, like I guess a lot of guys did. And I saw all of a sudden, there's this whole community of guys who try to improve themselves with girls, and I really immersed myself into that. And then just more people asked me, hey, can you help me, do you want to coach me? And that's how I got where I am right now, basically.
Quite similar story to mine, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty identical. And many people don't know, but Marquardt was one of our first guest speakers when I found Veiled Intentions.
Yeah,
I had you as a guest speaker in Vienna here. It was like,
that was amazing. Yeah,
it was like 2019 March or April, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And why we decided to talk about this topic, man, today. I think because this is affects us all. This is a world going on worldwide, this coronavirus stuff. And but honestly, I don't know what's the bigger issue, because it's like, is it like the virus itself, or more the regulations, or the simping around and excuses of all those guys? Because literally I feel like, but I will go on later about this. But before we go into this topic, this video won't be for any moral apostles or people who really like society pleasing sheeps. This video will be really, if you are one of those people, then go off this channel and stick to your political views. We don't judge, we accept everybody's opinion. But if you want to know how to get laid and get pussy, then stick with us till the end of the video, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also like and comment and subscribe to Mark's YouTube channel. Everything will be found in the description down below, as always. And yeah, man, I think as I said, this whole coronavirus really separated the wheat from the chaff. And it really showed you the guys who just talking the talk, and the guys who really walk the walk. It started with like the first lockdown. You could really see the guys who were prepared for the situation, who could adapt themselves the quickest, and had their rotations ready, had their fuck buddies ready, and they knew game. And the others, they felt really lost, and they had nothing. And suddenly this coronavirus, I think what coronavirus did, it brought all those issues and problems they had all the past years into the limelight, because those problems they had way before, like years before there was no corona. And corona really showed those guys, you have big problems when it comes to game, especially day game or texting and so on and so forth. And I mean, what was your like? How
It's
did you witness
basically,
this thing?
for me, it's the same opinion as you. And I think a very big thing is, say, for example, well, back in the day, you used to make excuses and you didn't go out and yada, yada. And now that there's actually a point where you can go out anymore, you maybe start to appreciate once, this whole thing is opening up again, that you actually have the possibility to, go out and talk to girls, and even in a nightclub, and you don't live in fucking Afghanistan where, it's probably not the best thing to walk around and try to approach strangers and, just trying to amp your game up. But, for me, I told my people basically the same that you did. I told to them, hey, see, now you realize whether you did your homework actually before or you didn't, because the past few months for me, they were awesome. I stepped my online game up, and that's also what I told everybody else. I had multiple threesomes. I had a lot of fuck buddies who came over, and I even met a ton of girls, and I had a boot camp in Vienna in the summer, and I fucked a girl there, and I almost fucked another girl on the same day. And I still remember, I can tell you the story afterwards, and I still remember the girl that I had sex with. She told me she was really frustrated and depressed because she couldn't get any more sex, and she really needed it. And there's it's like something that a lot of
not only guys are struggling, but girls as well.
Yeah, girls are struggling as well, right? So many girls right now, they're really frustrated that they can't have any sex, and for them it's really painful. So something you should realize when you're alone, staying at home, realize that somewhere out there, maybe even your neighbor, fun thing here is I actually fucked my neighbor, but maybe even your neighbor, is lying lonely in her bed and, jerking off.
Everybody is.
There's no dick. And, the fun thing is, like, even another fuck buddy told me when there was the first lockdown, she told me she was basically living with two of her friends together. And, she was the only one who got sex. And she told me that both of her friends, they were really jealous because, she basically had me and she fucked me the whole time, and the other ones didn't get sex. So, yeah, I think it's really all about, whether, like, now you see if you've done your homework or not. And then basically another thing I told all of my followers, and you can really see whether they executed or not. And most guys didn't. And that's really painful for me, because I told them on the first lockdown, hey, now is the time to step up your online game, to get good pictures, like you have a ton of good pictures, step up your online game. And then, because, maybe...
those guys probably saw this will be going on only for 1 month or 2 months. I remember when they said, exactly. 1 month for 2 weeks, then it's all done. I don't want to invest in online game. I'm not this type of guy. And, they made all those self-excuses. And what they did, especially in the first lockdown, what I witnessed is that they try to prohibit their sexual nature by any means. What did they do is, like, when there was the first lockdown, they said, like, oh, I'm stepping away from game now, I'm taking a break, I'm focusing on myself and find my purpose, which is it's nothing bad, But I felt most of the guys, they made more self-excuses and tried to lie to their dick or something. They're like, hey, man, you don't need no pussy because there is this big virus going on and kill so many people, and just stay calm. We are here for the society, because nobody knew how deadly this virus is actually in the beginning. But I felt from the start, many guys are doing all those self-excuses, but you can't, you can't prohibit your sexual nature. Is a basic need. Having sex and reproduction is a basic need, And it's like maybe not the bottom of the Maslow pyramid, which is like satisfy hunger or sleep. but it comes maybe at the third layer or something.
So it's very, and same as you said, most guys, they really just use Corona as an excuse not to talk to girls anymore. And I'm not the kind of guy where I say, this is a big conspiracy stuff, or I'm not trying to lick on door knobs and get myself infected, obviously. But on the other hand, I'm not talking not to girls anymore, or not meeting girls anymore, because I'm afraid or something like that. And even the online game, if you would have taken some very good pictures of you on the first lockdown, you would have had, first of all, you would have had good pictures right now, and second, it's not like after the lockdown there's no online game anymore. No, you still have the good pictures, right? And you can, if you take a very good pictures, it's going to give you so much pussy, and you can post it on Facebook, on WhatsApp, or if you have Instagram, on Tinder, Bumble, and for this whole online game.
But also
stuff,
you can make stories or show the girls or show other people what you're doing with life when you're like at home eating chips, getting fat, and posting stories of what Netflix movie you just started to watch. It's lame, it's like, and then you use Corona as an excuse why you got fat, why you don't get chicks, and this and that.
There's no excuse.
As you mentioned before, like it was never easier to set up dates straight to either your place or her place.
Exactly.
Than it is now. And guys are maybe like shocked now, but that's the truth, to break straight to the point. And if you want to learn how to do it, make sure to stick till the end of the video. Also what I found a really good quote from Niccolo Machiavelli, because I talked about this adapting yourself to the situation, is he talks about virtue is about how you can anticipate unknown and deal with fate at any given occasion. So that means, like I said, adapt yourself to the occasions which are mostly negative and try to make the best out of it.
Yeah.
That's what the guys did who had their shit together. And with any further ado, let's crack into today's questions. And the first question, and here you can see already at these questions that many questions are not Corona related. They had problems way before Corona, as I said. And the first question is, for example, what's the best mindsets and ways about going out alone?
So when it comes to going out alone, for me, well, first of all, you don't want to depend on other people, right? Like you don't want to depend on your wingman, like if you go out or not. For me, that's basically retarded. And then also, if you go out, well, realize most of the time you're alone anyways, like even if you go out with other people, because obviously you want to talk to the girl, right? And you should be in set. You should be talking to girls 80% of the time when you're out. So when I'm out alone, there's this like old stuff where you can call a friend on the phone and try to get social, or you can baby step it and give people high five. Or what I like to do to not waste my time in between sets is actually, listen to some good audiobook, so you don't waste the time if you can't find any hot girls. And then, that's basically it when it comes down to, for me. And also realize you're alone most of the time anyway in your life, so don't ever try to depend on a wingman. And then also, if you move to a different city, for example, and you don't know anybody, well, you're alone anyways. So you should be able, it's very crucial for pickup, I believe, to be able to talk to girls alone. You don't want to depend on anyone.
And as you said, I wanna break this question down into 2 points. First of all, the mindset, and then also like he said, the ways to going out alone. So the guy realized that day game, as you said, basically you're born alone, you die alone.
Yeah.
And when it comes to going out alone, especially day game, you should do it alone, because I think when you're like in a pack of 5 guys or 4 guys, most guys they have like a whole like wolves, like a tribe. And going out for day game, it's really obvious, and it's really somehow it's like it shows the girls you have either no balls or really like you're retarded, or maybe the guys are making fun of her because one guy approaches her and the others are just staring there, and the girl feels uncomfortable.
Weird.
So you should always go out alone when it comes to day game anyway.
Yeah.
And what I hate, what I really gets on my nerves is when guys going out for day game, and they do it like they set them a time, like 2-3 hours, and running up and down the street, for 3 hours without any purpose or anything. And as a high value man, I think you can't really afford to lose that much time. And what is day game? Like day game, when I set myself, you should, before you start, what should be your mindset is setting yourself a goal. You're at home, you're setting yourself a goal to go, for example, to the grocery store. It must not be the grocery store, the next grocery store nearby, but it can be another grocery store, which is farther away. But you have a goal set already before you leave the house. You have like from point A to point B. And on the way to the grocery store, when you see a girl or when you see chicks, you talk to them.
Yeah.
But anyway, if it fails or you're getting rejected, you still have a plan. You still have, oh, I'm going to the grocery store anyway. So that's my purpose. What I have, that's my goal anyway for today. It's not like going back and forth on the street, getting rejected, and or maybe when the girls asking you, why are you here, or what are you doing, or where are you heading? Oh, right. I don't know. Like, yeah, wherever you are heading, and it shows the girl you have no purpose in life at all. And what's also good mindset to have when you step out of the door, what I really like is to turn on music. Especially nowadays, people are really depressed. They're walking around with masks, face masks, and you really get easily into this depressed mood, when you're mentally not that stable. So make yourself a playlist, put on some music, and go your way. And even when you're talking to girls, I don't even like maybe put one earphone out and talk to the girl while listening music to the other ear. That should be also a good way.
For me, if you walk up to a girl and you put your thing out and you just say something to her, it doesn't look like you saw her from like 100 meters,
like creepy way.
It's like right into there. So it's more, it feels more real because it's more casual, and you maybe have to force yourself a little bit more. But then again, I feel it just makes a better impression on the girl if it's looking more casually.
And I wrote an article even about this music stuff. You can find in the Well Intentions Facebook group, which will be also in the description down below. But going to the next question, which is not a question guys put in, but I had myself, is like, what really changed now? Because this was a basic question anyway, how to crush it the day game, which was a basic question, not Corona related this specifically. But what changed, what Corona did change was the way with the face mask. And it's like, it really makes us a bit hard to read facial expressions, because you have this mask down there, you don't see anything but the eyes. And if like nonverbal communication makes up like 55 or even 60% according to different statistics when it comes to approaching. It's not the words. It's not like the words are like maybe 10%. Tonality is also a small percentage, but most of them is nonverbal communication, which is body language and facial expressions. And due to the wearing of the face mask, it got really difficult to reading facial expressions for you and for the girl as well, And that's why when you, for example, go and talk to a girl and you are on a public transport or a grocery store or anyway where it's mandatory to wear a face mask, what you should do is to demonstrate this real quick on my own mask here. Putting my mask out, which is like 4 months old. I have this mask, like this is my third mask only. But you have this mask here. You wear it like this. You go to the girl and you say, the girl doesn't know if you're laughing or you're mad or whatever. You can make some, I don't know. She only sees your eyes, But when you go to the girl and talk to her, you put this mask up, pull this mask down a bit and say, hey, what's up? Pull it back, And she will feel more comfortable when you're doing this from the start. And it converts like these facial expressions you have behind. When you go there, pull the mask down a little bit and say hi to her and pull it back. Nobody will scream at you, no security or anybody will scream, hey, put the mask back, you're threatening my health or shit like that, when you do it for 1 second. But to the girl, it really shows, this guy is smiling, he's positive, it converts the facial expressions, which are really make up a really big percentage of the whole approach. How do you see this? Or what do you do when you approach girls, like, for example, public transport or grocery store?
Well, first of all, what many people told me, they're like, now that girls wear masks, or how should I do it with the mask and blah, blah, blah. And, for me, it's basically well, like before, it's nothing, a mask shouldn't hinder you from talking to a girl. It's like same shit, you just wear the mask, so why is there any problem? Obviously, as I said, you shouldn't cough in other people's faces and whatnot. And to be fair, there are some, well, actually during the whole corona stuff, when I was outside coaching and whatnot, I only had one girl who was really scared and was walking away, and maybe she has her sick grandfather living with her or something like that, and that's legit too. So I don't try to forcefully walk or shorten the distance between people if I realize she's uncomfortable.
And anyway, I think girls reacted this like at the very beginning, but then they realize more and more, okay, when you're a healthy young person, the mortality rate is really, really low. And
you can mock them a little bit, you can tell them, oh, you maybe have a very bad smile or something like that, or let me show you show me your teeth or some shit like that. You can play a little bit with that even. So yeah.
But also, as I said, when you approach a girl and it's mandatory to wear a mask somewhere, you pull it down a bit. That's what I always did. Pull it down a bit when you talk to someone and pull it back. And for 1 second, and you do it more often when you talk, and you will see it converts the girl to do the same. The girl will feel more comfortable, and she will do the same. Because you are the stronger sex. Of course, feminists, they don't want to hear this now, but you are the stronger gender. And the way, when you make her feel comfortable, she will do it as well. When you mirror that, you're, and for example, look at, imagine you see somebody at public wearing gloves, wearing a face mask where it's not even mandatory. What do you think automatically? It doesn't matter if you're a male or female. You automatically think this person might get, this person has health issues, or might get the disease easier than me, or is weak, And to break it down, Charles Darwin's evolutionary-based theory, you want to reproduce with a strong, healthy male, and not with somebody who's weak. And to come to the next question, I want to bring it up, these Corona objections, because many guys, students of mine, and many people I saw in the Facebook groups and all over, they talked about, what if the girl gives me those typical objections, like, for example, oh, I have a fear of Corona, or I'm living, or I don't want to get infected or infect others, the elderly, or maybe she has an older mother or grandma or whatever. How do you deal with it, or what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, for me, those are legit concerns, and it's not like, well, as I said beforehand, there are some people who take it very seriously. There are some people who don't really give a fuck. Most of the people are somewhere in the middle. Probably you and me as well, and most of the girls. And obviously, I don't try to convince any girl, to meet me if she has a sick grandmother or something, because there are plenty of other girls who are willing to meet me right now, and who maybe live alone and far away from their family or something, or maybe they're perfectly healthy or something.
I think it's about seeing through if it's a real objection or something she says just to, the same objections you used to get in clubs or Daygame or anywhere else before Corona, to say something because she doesn't want to seem cheap or something like that. That's what you have to screen for. Is it really like this, or have to deal with it?
It's the same thing for me with sex. I don't try to convince a girl to have sex with me, because there are plenty of other girls out there. I want a girl who is really positive about meeting me, who likes to enjoy sex, who is pulling my pants down and who's going for it. And there are plenty of girls right now who are really frustrated and who are really eager to meet you. And why should I focus on the one that I'm in contact with who has a sick grandmother, and it doesn't really make sense to try to meet her, because there are plenty of other ones who really would like to meet me, and I just focus on them. And there are enough girls out there. So yeah.
And as we said, it's about screening beforehand, and deal with the objections proactively, which is always easier than reactively. But proactively, when you are dealing with an objection, when you bring something up, you can say, for example, and that's what worked really in the first lockdown. You can say, hey, I have a grandma as well I'm taking care of, and I would never do this to her to get her infected, And the girl then said she felt comfortable, and then she said, okay, let's meet or whatever, you know. When she really, they were just really like objections, concerned about I don't want to seem cheap, you know. And or for example, when she, I don't know, when she wants to meet, or because she doesn't want to go straight to your place, and she says, oh, let's meet beforehand or something like that. Of course you can take a walk with her, but then you can say, hey, you know, it's a curfew out there, and I got a fine last week for going out and stuff like that. You can tell her something and say, hey, go better inside, and it's cold outside anyway, let's go inside and have a drink.
I mean, the real issue is whatever. I feel like the real issue is actually abundance, because if you only know one girl and, you know, she's trying to be really safe and staying at home the whole time, well, it's not really a point of meeting her. You know, but if you would know a lot of girls, and, you know, many of them were your fuck buddies, and, you know, there's maybe you know 10 girls and you meet them on a regular basis, and there's like one who's just trying to stay at home all the time, well, you still have 9 girls left, and you just go and meet them.
True. And she will automatically realize this guy has no other girls. And next question we have, it's again something which is not related especially to Corona, but it's more, I already saw, it's more like a lacking and game. It's there was a guy who approached girls on the streets. What he said is like, how do you do that for real? And the girls were a little bit perplexed, and they asked, what do you mean? I said, yeah, looking so good, I couldn't resist to come and say hi to you. And they giggled, but then they directly said, like, are you high, or do you smoke weed or whatever? Although the guy didn't smoke in his whole life. But that's what the girl, they gave him. That was his first approach. So there I already saw, I don't know the whole story, and you don't have it recorded anyway, just his writing. But I assume that he did it very aggressively and direct, you know, and that's what we talked about. When you see, like, of course, when you guys see, watching Infields, or like most of those, there are many shitty Infields, but a few good ones, as from you, Marquardt, for example. And they're watching those Infields, like, oh, it looks so cool. The guy's like running there, and some RSD Infields mostly, you know, some really...
some short clips.
Some short clips, and it worked really good, and try to say the same sentence, try to imitate the same style. And then the girl gives another answer than they thought they would get, and then they're like, oh fuck, what should I do now? I mean, the girls are not robots, you know, you're dealing with human beings. But when they're watching, for example, an infield, maybe from you, which is a very good one, and you approach them directly, they think it works for them as well, you know, it works the same way. And then they're going in, but what they don't realize, what's never on video, is that when you approach a girl as well, you read automatically her body language. Is she stepping away? What she's doing, you know, non-verbally. How you deal with that. And it's all about empathy and social intelligence, which is not shown on video, which is like not verbally communicated, but you can, when you really watch this whole infield of yours, you can really see it, you know, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. For me, the big point is basically relatability, right? You have to be a little bit relatable to the girl, at least, you know, at least somehow a little bit. And funny enough, I actually had that back in the day when I used to go out a lot. And for me, one of the issues was that I went out a lot during the night, and I was sober. And then I went out from maybe 2 to 5, or maybe from 1 to 5. And then I was in this really like crazy stuff, and, you know, it was all sober. And then I went out during the next day again, and it was, you know, daytime, afternoon, and I did all the crazy stuff. And people were like, are you drunk? Are you high? Did you smoke something or something? And I didn't realize back then that most of the, well, you know, it always depends on the person. So that's why I said relatability is very important. But then you also have to realize that a lot of game is simply, is quite boring. You know, and those are usually the stuff that you don't see online on some flashy short infield video, because nobody's watching it, because it's fucking boring. And I can see that I release a ton of infield footage, and I even see that, you know, people want to see the flashy stuff. They can't even put on the focus for 10 minutes to watch something because it's too boring. But actually, that's how a big part of game, big part of game is not doing like some flashy stuff.
And then most guys, they bring up this old lifelong debate of going direct or going indirect, which approach is better. And they always see guys like, especially as you said, the flash infields, when they're going indirect, and they think direct is the best solution because it, and why they're doing this, because they think like it converts quicker or makes the gap shorter of having sex with her, or she knows what's going on when you approach her directly, because girls are not dumb, they when you approach them and indirectly, they deep down know what's up, they know, okay, why he approached me. Of all those 50 girls which are in the grocery store, he wants something. But what these guys are lacking is the transition from the indirect opener, transitioning means showing the girl your real intent, and that's what they're struggling. They think, and I open the girl indirect and ask her, for example, hey, do you know where I find this electronics store? And she says, yeah, down the street. And they're like, yeah, can you show me where exactly? Or can you go with me? And more indirect. And the girl either thinks that this guy has no balls to show me his real intent, or the guy doesn't want anything from me at all. Give a short example, because guys, I think they want to really know how this transition stuff works. Is, for example, I don't know, freestyle top of my head. I'm going to the grocery store, and again, I have a purpose, going from A to B, and my purpose is to shop, to buy noodles, because I'm making spaghetti. Heading to the grocery store, go to the grocery store, see a girl there, and I'm asking her, hey, do you know where I can find noodles? And she will say, no, I don't know, I'm not working here. Or maybe she will say, yeah, there. And then it doesn't matter actually what you say, but then you can say, yeah, because I'm cooking noodles. I'm making my own spaghetti, And I thought you could tell me which noodles are good, or where I can find the noodles, because you look like somebody from, I don't know, Southern Europe. You look like an Italian girl. For example, there I can bring a cold read, but related to the topic, spaghetti, Italy, it should relate somehow. And she'll say, oh, funny, I'm not from Italy. And you can say, oh, I really thought like you are from there. And then I leave this whole stuff with this cold reading. And then I can say, for example, yeah, this summer I was in Italy, and blah, blah, blah. DHV myself a bit, show her, okay, despite of the coronavirus, this guy is traveling, he's living life. And during this, I bring in, hey, my name is Patrick. What's your name? And this will tell the girl, okay, the guy obviously is high value. He travels around, doesn't give a fuck about the virus. He can also cook, which is also a good plus point for most of the girls. And you can say like, yeah, and I don't know, what are you buying? What are you up to? You can say, I don't know. You can see her bag, and when there is, for example, frozen pizza, you can say, oh, I thought you can cook as well, but I see you're only living out of frozen pizza. And then she will maybe qualify herself. Yeah, it's like it depends, Again, she can say something to, yeah, I can't cook for shit, and or it's only my cheat day and stuff like that. And then you can ask her again, gather some personal information, and then you can say, okay, I'm going there to buy the noodles. You can come with me, so you can learn as well how to really buy the best noodles in the grocery store. And you know what? I need a fine, good red wine. Maybe you can tell me at least what red wine should I get. I make her a bit, invest, and then she will say like, oh, with wine, yeah, I have a little bit of knowledge, so I can help you. And then you go and pay at the cashier, and you can say, for example, either you can exchange numbers, or you can say, hey, there is a coffee shop nearby, or let's have a coffee, or stuff like that. And that's it. That's how you transition.
Make the transition from talking about whatever topic you use to get her into talking. Then make the transition. And then another good one, in my opinion, would be, oh, by the way, do you also live around here? Because why? Well, because you're shopping in this fucking grocery store, and chances are she is, and maybe she's living right next to you, and then you can be like, oh, awesome, we're actually neighbors, huh? Isn't that funny? You know, and then later you can tell, oh, you know, do you want to go for a walk sometimes or something like that. But, you know, use topics that actually make sense. If you're in the gym, you can talk about sports. If you're in the grocery store, you know, talk about food. And then, you know,
and use
often,
something lighthearted, you know. It's not about the
yeah,
topic, it's not about something, I don't know. Use something lighthearted where you think she can talk about as well. Don't come up with your favorite movie or something like that, which really like a handful of people know about. Something which everybody can talk about. So last thing we had is like online dating, as we mentioned, due to Corona. It's like online dating, which got really a big thing. I mean, you see everybody on online dating. You see your neighbor. You see the fat single mom. You see everybody. You know, everybody is on online dating platforms. Everybody try to get. Girls are trying to get validation. They miss those validation you used to get in the club, and now they switch to online dating. But you have to seek out again. You have to screen, is she there only to get validation, or is she really there to get laid? You know. I mean, the majority is there to get laid, but it depends from you. You know, when you're somebody who doesn't have good texting skills and who is boring, you know, to you she won't give her pussy to you, but to the other guy she will.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I really got into online, you know, especially during the, I mean, you know, I lost track of how many threesomes I had, you know, maybe 30 or something. And I got a big chunk of it from online games, simply by having one girl that's down for it and then finding another girl from online game. And, you know, happy to show my profile here as well. I'm quite active on Bumble, on Tinder. You know, there are a bunch of other apps you can use like Hinge or something. And you know, for me, I met a lot of pretty girls from online game. And I believe the most important part is, you know, obviously your pictures are super fucking important. If you don't have good pictures, you know, you don't even match her, you can't even text her. So your fucking pictures are very important.
Yeah, pictures are A and O.
Make sure you don't use a toaster to make your picture. Make sure it's good quality. Also, make sure your picture conveys a certain amount of sexuality. A friend of mine here recently in Frankfurt created a female profile, and he got like 3,000 matches in one day, and he used pretty pictures. And the funniest part was most of the guys were just texting boring shit. They were texting boring shit you didn't even want to respond to. And then again, if you also have a shitty picture, well, then good luck, you know, competing with 3,000 other guys. But what I realized, and you know, you wanted me to wear the pullover, but I didn't because I was running.
Oh yeah, I forgot already.
Outside, so I actually ordered something like this, you know, Pornhub pullover.
Make some subtle advertising here. Shout out to Pornhub.
Yeah. For my, and you know, that's also my first picture on Tinder.
Yeah.
And again, it's about screening, right?
And it's something funny as well, like in pink, especially. Like
it's funny as well, right? And then if a girl sees me with this fucking pullover, you just use shit like that, you know, to make to have a screening picture. And then say, for example, another one, you know, this is my third picture right now on online game, you know, this doesn't, well, at least it conveys, you know, a little bit of sexuality, you know, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Then there's some other, you know, then there's like a cute puppy. We actually had him at home, and there's some more shit where, you know, maybe you can pause the video and read it, but it says, well, maybe you can't read it, but it says something, you know, it's a list, and it's like, choke me daddy somewhere.
I really yesterday I had a guy in the mastermind group, for example. We pimped his Tinder profile, and he really got like within 5 minutes like 8 hot girls or 12 hot girls, I don't know anymore, but they were really all hot, and they all matched with him. And it was within few minutes, because he had those pictures already, which was funny. He had these pictures already, but he didn't know himself that those pictures are good for online, you know. And then we changed this. Then I told him, where are your pictures? Like, show me everything you have. Show me your whole folder. And he did, and there were like 2-3 more pictures which were really good. And I said, why you never used it, you know? And he said, I didn't know that those are good or like working for Tinder, but they did the magic, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I wrote him a good bio as well, but the bio, in my perspective, and I did a lot of online game, and I really coached many students with online dating apps and stuff, and bio is really like 10 or maximum 20 or 15%.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
majority are pictures. You can even be a good-looking guy with fucking good pictures and no bio at all. I tried this as well, and I got the results as well. Really good results without a bio even.
A client of mine had this really funny picture where there was this like baby kitten sitting on his lap, basically directly on his dick, but obviously he was wearing pants. And then he had like a nice six pack and was somewhere in the holiday. And I told him, well, put it on second picture and use as a bio. I wish you would be the little kitten on my lap. So it conveys it's a cute kitten, and it conveys some certain sexuality as well. So yeah.
Also the order is important of the pictures. Most guys they don't give a fuck about the order. The order is really important. We also change the order. Many guys, and because the girls they don't swipe that much. They like haven't seen the first picture.
Yeah.
The first picture is already doing 90. It's like either you fail or she swipes. She swipes through other pictures, because most of the girls they won't. I mean, no girl. Actually, I don't know any girl who will swipe right immediately because of one picture. Girls are really critical when it comes to this. They're looking through the pictures. They're looking again, take another look, and then they swipe right. Then they make their choice.
Yeah.
Guys, for example, they see a good picture. You don't even know the other ones, but oh, she's hot. Swipe right.
Yeah.
But in general, coronavirus made it really like it revolutionized the online dating, and it made it really easy to get laid out online. It's that's a fact. I mean, everybody's at home, they are bored, girls are looking for somebody. I mean, there are also girls like guys who don't have a rotation or who don't have fuck buddies, but most of the girls they were prepared as well. They called their fuck buddies, they called the rotation, but maybe their rotation is in another country, or there is a lockdown currently and he can't travel, or whatever the case is. And then she's like, okay, setting up an online dating profile. At last but not least, before we end this, what I was thinking about are red flags when it comes to approaching during these times. And what I'm referring to are, for example, red flags when you see a girl wearing a face mask, and at places where it's not even mandatory. When, for example, she's in a public area, public street, and there is not mandatory, at least here or not now, to wear a face mask, then it's for me a sign of, okay, this girl is maybe afraid when it comes to this virus, or it's for me a red flag. Or for example, which is even more over the top, is wearing gloves and shit like that in summer, for example. It's for me a red flag. It's like this girl is not open anyway then, and I'm only losing time to convince her and to all this shit.
So
these are for me red flags. And
exactly. I mean, if she already looks super concerned, then she's probably not really eager to make out with you, or to have sex with you even. So basically it's the same stuff that you said. And one of the things that I pay the most attention to is simply physical distance. So if
that's the first thing already.
Obviously, that's for me. That's also the most important sign that I look for.
Of course, don't get too close like some weirdos. Don't go too close immediately, but keep the normal distance you always kept before Corona as well. And there you can see when she's stepping back, as you said, and it's for you. It's like, okay.
Yeah, if you try to talk to her and she's going immediately further away, well, then guess what? It doesn't really make much sense to try to get closer to her. If you walk up to her and you can slowly go a little bit closer to her, and you test it and it works, well, she's probably attracted to you. She probably doesn't have a lot of issues, otherwise she wouldn't be standing so close to you, and that's a fucking good sign. And for me, also, like, the physical distance you have is the IOI that I pay the most attention to, because body language doesn't lie.
So any last words, Marquardt, to motivate the guys out there now?
Well, thanks a lot for the invitation, and I'm happy to come to Vienna anytime soon. And for me, Vienna is really good. When it comes to game, I especially love it during the summer. And I actually wanted to tell this funny story that happened. So on the end of my boot camp, it was super funny. There was like one girl talking to three guys, and I walked past her, and I was already ordering my Uber and looking for where it is, and then she was walking my direction, and I basically told her, and I even have it on my Instagram, I basically made a funny story and asked her, hey, would you like to be my Wiener Schnitzel for tonight? And then the funniest part, she was laughing like fuck. And I was even before, I was, God damn it, next time I'm in Vienna, I have to use this line. And then I used it, and she was laughing so much, and she was like, oh, for real? And then she was asking me where my Uber is heading. And then, and she was like, I was like, yeah, sure, you can ride with me. And then we drove back to the hotel together, and we got out. Yeah. Well, no, then was the funniest part was in the Uber, in the taxi, she was asking me if I have a mini bar, if I have something to drink, and if she can come out with me and go drink something. And I said, yeah, sure, no worries, awesome, no problem. And then actually, in the Uber, I had to just tell her, there's already a girl sleeping in my place. So if you're down for a threesome, you can come up. And then, well, sadly she wasn't, so I had to say goodbye to her. But yeah, it was a very funny story. And thanks a lot again for the invitation. It was very nice.
But what before you got a good idea with the minibar is what I wanted to say for the guys out there. As the clubs are closed and everything is closed, make the party at your place, and maybe build a mini bar, or if you don't have the money for the furnitures and stuff like that, go and buy some cocktail books or learn how to mix cocktails. Bring the party to your place.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, thanks a lot again, for the invitation. I'm happy to be
thank you, man.
In Vienna, and hope everybody stays safe and whatnot. And again, don't use Corona as an excuse, not to talk to girls anymore.
Buy condoms, not face masks.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you have as a young healthy male, if you're still concerned about catching Corona or dying from Corona, you probably didn't fuck many girls to strengthen your immune system. And bye, man. Signing out. Cheers.
Take care.